Welcome and good early evening to all of our viewers tuning in online on YouTube. Today is day one, hour zero of PH Tech Week 2021. My name is Miguel N. Galase, and I will be your host for today's events. We hope you are all doing well, especially given today's circumstances, and that you are rested, healthy, and excited to take part in our jam-packed event this evening. But before we get started, let us pay our respects to the flag of our nation and together sing the national anthem. So good early evening again to all. Before we get formally started, konting pampainit lang. Siyempre may pasakali muna tayo before the main program. So, why don't we gear up for a little bit of a community quiz? So, we will be giving away 500 pesos worth of Grab food vouchers to 5 winners. And this will be happening daily. So, if you guys are so inclined, go to joinmyquiz.com and enter the code 396708. That code is also on our Discord announcements channel if you guys are looking for it. So we will be doing multiple choice. That's 10 questions, and each question will run for a total of 30 seconds. One important thing to note, guys, you should be using the name that you registered on the PH Tech Week website as our basis on the joinmyquiz.com registration, since we will be using that for you to claim your prize. So make sure you enter the same name on Join My Quiz that you did on the PH Tech Week website so that you can claim your prize after you hopefully win. So, is everybody ready to get started for our warm-up to our main event? So again, that'll be joinmyquiz.com. Okay, it looks like we have a good number, 52 participants. Maybe we can give it a few minutes before we get started. So again, guys, that's joinmyquiz.com. And remember to use the same name on Join My Quiz as you did on PH Tech Week so that we can reach out to you if ever you do win our little quiz. So we'll be starting in about 3 minutes, and we'll give you guys some time to get started. So we're now up to 73 participants. We'll be starting the quiz in about 2 minutes, guys, so make sure to get online at joinmyquiz.com and enter the code you see on your screen. We will be giving away again 500 pesos worth of Grab food vouchers to 5 winners. So isipin nyo guys, isang panalo lang dito, may pakain na kayo for this particular week. And if you happen to win every day of every week on Tech Week, then you will be having quite a feast. So ready to brush up on your skills because this is a lot of food we're giving away. Okay, I think that's the clock. I think we can get started. 6:07. We do have 93 participants so far. Let's get started. So again, guys, maybe you're just joining us. You can go online quickly at joinmyquiz.com and enter the code you see on your screen. And we'll be having a quick game before the beginning of our ceremony. So the game was to identify the logo on screen. And it looks like I Am Now's topped out. And he got it right. WordPress User Group Philippines. The logo that you saw on your screen earlier was WordPress User Group Philippines. Nice try, guys. On to the next question. Which logo do you see on your screen? Five seconds left. Time's up, guys. Nakuha niyo ba yung sagot? Let's take a look at our leaderboard. So yung lamang ngayon ay si RG. At tamang-tama yung sagot niya. PH Tech Community, guys. So good job. 57 out of 102 of you guys got that one right. So let's move on to the next question. Ito naman, guys. Nasa logo na eh. Kailangan tama kayo dyan. We should have given you guys 10 seconds to get this one right. Because this one's a gimme. Grabe, 70 pa lang yung sumasagot. Come on, guys. Nandiyan na yung sagot. 5 seconds left. Time's up. Did you get the right answer? Let's take a look at our leaderboard. At mukhang ganun pa rin yung top 3 natin. Pero may konting gumalaw dun sa baba. The answer actually is Developers Connect. That's the long version of DevCon. So on to our next question. Which community do you see on your screen? This one should be pretty easy too. Ito ngayon, mas maraming nakasagot agad. 15 seconds. Natitikman nyo na ba yung Grab food voucher nyo? Or baka iniisip nyo na kung anong order nyo with that? Palibre naman guys. Ang sarap naman ng free Grab food voucher. Ayan, 1 second left. Time's up. Let's see how you guys did. Oh, ang lamang na ngayon ay si I am Nalds at saka si JR. And that is absolutely right, guys. 7 of you guessed correctly. That is Python Philippines. Let's move on. So which logo, which community logo do you guys now see on your screen? So again, if you guys are just joining us, we are doing a bit of a warm up to our main event. So if you're looking to have some fun, make sure to go on joinmyquiz.com and enter the code that you see on your screen, and you can win yourself a chance at some Grab food vouchers. Time's up for this question. Tama ba yung mga hula nyo? Tingnan natin. Ito, grabe. Ang laki ng order change. So I think Chi is now on top, and she got the right answer, which was actually almost the least minority in terms of your guesses. But congratulations to those who got it right. Let's move on to the next question. This one you guys should be quite familiar with. You have 30 seconds, and mukhang marami na nga naka-punch in ng sagot nila. So after that last question, the order was reshuffled a bit. So we now have Chi on top. So again, I'd like to remind you guys, if you guys are just registering, make sure you use the same name as you did when registering on the PH Tech Week website so that we can identify who the winners are. So time's up on this one. Did you guys get it right? Si Chi pa rin ang lamang, but again, there was a bit of a reshuffling of order down below. And the answer to this one was Angular Philippines. Let's move on to the next question. So which logo? Ito, guys. Ewan ka na talaga kapag mali pa yung sagot. Kasi medyo nandyan na yung sagot eh. So anyway, you do still have 20 seconds to get this one. And we do have just about over half of you who have submitted an answer. But this one should be more or less straightforward. Ano kaya yung logo na yan? Time's up. Let's see how you guys did. So ganun pa rin, but we do have again some reshuffling from position 3 and below. The answer was Mozilla Philippines Community. Okay, next question. Diyan tayo nalilito eh. May mga community pa pala sa dulo. We have to be watchful for that. So 30 seconds for this question. Which community logo do you see on your screen? Ito, mukhang medyo familiar yung mismong logo eh. But like, again, we have to be mindful of the words that come after. Is it community? Is it society? Let's find out. Time's up. And the answer for this one is Jupal Pilipinas. So actually ito medyo iba, hindi lang siya Philippines, Pilipinas talaga. Matindi guys. Next question. Again, it's in the logo, but I don't want to chip you guys up. Baka may nakakabit pa dyan sa dulo na community or again society. Ewan ko. Hula-hula na lang tayo guys. Again, this is 500 pesos worth of Grab food vouchers on the line. So 5 seconds now. Time's up. Let's see how you guys did. Ang pinakalamang pa rin ngayon ay si Chi. Pero top 3. Again, medyo nagsha-shuffle ng konti yung order. The answer was Progressive Web Apps, Pilipinas. Let's move on to the next question. Ito, medyo madilim, but I know you guys can make out those letters back there. You do have 10 seconds remaining. Enter your guesses. We're running out of time, and that's the clock. How did you guys do? I do believe that is the last question. Nako, ang laki ng reshuffling ng order. But in our top 5, I do believe we have Chi at the top, and I did not get a sneak peek of who else was there, but we will be contacting you guys as to who our 5 winners are for the Grab Food vouchers. So congratulations! May pakain na kayo this week. Baka bukas manalo na naman kayo. You get free food on us on PH Tech Week. So we hope you guys enjoyed, and we will be contacting you with the details as to who won. So this one, first is Chi, second is N. We will need that full name, guys. And third is Jade. So again, these results, we will publish them and try to get in touch. So make sure that you guys are watching out for the rest of Tech Week to win more prizes like Grab Food vouchers. Nakakagutom, di ba? Well, in line with that, I guess now is really just the time for us to get started. So what have we been talking about? So today is Monday, May 17, and our theme for PH Tech Week is current trends for productivity. So PH Tech Week is a first of its kind conference in the Philippines, showcasing different but like-minded and community-focused organizations in and around tech. This year's theme of building skills, better careers through tech communities, has member organizations of the Philippine Tech Community placing the spotlight on honing the skills not just of its members, but also of each and every Filipino during these trying times. Throughout the week, there will be featured sessions including keynotes, talks, and workshops co-organized by different member communities representing technology from all corners of the industry. So guys, kilalanin niyo yung mga mukha na yan. If it were not for them, we wouldn't have our wonderful event this evening. And we are taking this time now to be thankful for the hard work that they have put together to make this event possible. So thank you to our PH Tech Community leads who worked tirelessly to put this event together. And we would be remiss not to mention our sponsors. So our co-presenters for PH Tech Week 2021 are Microsoft, Manulife, and Filta. Thanks as well to our gold sponsor, Prospo, and to our silver sponsor, Apper.ph. And this is our calendar, guys, for PH Tech Week 2021. So as I mentioned earlier, our theme for Monday is current trends for productivity. But on each day, we will be having separate and distinct topics that you may be interested in. So if today might not be your jam, baka sa Thursday mas trip mo yung upskill initiatives. So just remember, you guys are free to tune in whenever and for whichever day you guys will find most interesting. But to watch out for those prizes, you got to tune in every single day. So speaking of prizes, we do have a little contest going on throughout each event, each day. So this is the social media photos of the day. We will be having 5 winners of 1,000 pesos worth of Lazada vouchers. Guys, ito na, we can fulfill our shopping cravings through Lazada, and we will be giving away these vouchers daily. So all you need to do is post a photo highlighting your experience or thoughts on PH Tech Week with the hashtag PH Tech Week 2021. So we will be choosing winners from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So you gotta remember na kailangan public yung post nyo, guys. Kasi hindi din namin makikita yung post nyo kahit sobrang ganda kung private lang naman siya. So you do need to remember to keep your post public. And all the winners for these will be announced at the end of each day and on our social media pages. So watch out for that. But apart from that, we do have our raffle throughout our week. And again, we will be giving away 5 winners worth of 300 pesos Grab food vouchers. And again, that will be happening daily. And this is open to all attending the 6 to 9 p.m. PH Tech Week program. So during the session proper, you guys might notice like a little code that will flash on screen. So you're going to want to submit that as your raffle entry at the link bit.ly/decodedraffle. So guys, kailangan matalas ang mata natin. You never know when that code might appear. So the winners again will be announced at the end of each day and on our social media pages. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our distinguished opening keynote speaker. Winston Damarillo is the executive chairman of Amihan, a leading digital enterprise transformation company in the ASEAN region. He is a Silicon Valley veteran with over 20 years of experience as a technology entrepreneur and venture capital professional. Winston was among the highest performing VC executives at Intel, having led the majority of his investments to either a successful IPO or a profitable corporate acquisition. So he is the founder of several startups, including Glucode, a company specializing in Java server software. Grabe guys, this one's a mouthful. I don't know what more to say. Please put your hands together for Winston Damarillo.
Hello. Hi, Mike. Hi, Miguel. Kamusta?
Hello. Nice to have you on.
Not Wilfred, huh?
Sorry, I got that wrong. Winston.
All right. Should we get started?
Yep, now is a good time.
Okay, first of all, magandang araw sa inyo lahat. Really excited to be here today. And I want to thank Haifa and the organizers of Tech Week for inviting me. I think it's a great opportunity for us to talk about what we've accomplished as collectively as geeks in the Philippines now. So today, I wanted lang to share with all of you guys, how it's been the last, 12 to 15 months that we've been in the pandemic. I think it's a good opportunity for me to also, number one, thank all the geeks in the country for what we have done for the Philippines. I want to share what we've been doing at DevCon, and I'm sure a lot of you are members of DevCon. So this is kind of collectively anong nagawa natin for the country. I wanted to share a little bit of the results for that and what we have accomplished together. And then a little bit of a preview then on how the geeks have gotten together, build startups, and prospectively look forward on what's in store for the future of technology and how we are going to reshape our world as we continue to progress. So hopefully give me a little bit more time to go through this, and hopefully all of you are going to find some value in these talks now. So I'll speak on behalf of DevCon. I've been a proud member of DevCon for about 10 years now, since we started it in Cebu. And I know a lot of you are also members of DevCon. So I look forward to sharing with you what we've done now. So first of all, DevCon, if you don't know it, is one of our Filipino startup community here in the Philippines and geek community in the Philippines. We've been spending a lot of time bringing technology knowledge to the country. We've been working together also to collaborate on efforts in developing software for our communities, and in the last 12 to 15 months for our country as the pandemic rolls in. So first of all, I think it's a rare and unique opportunity for me para magpasalamat naman dun sa mga geeks na tumulong, no, dun sa ating pandemic response infrastructure that we built at the request of our government. So just a quick recap of this. Noong March 16, 2020, when the pandemic hit, the government asked us as a community, tech community in general, to help in responding to the COVID-19 crisis. No? So in March 16th, we collectively made a call to all the tech communities to help volunteer for our country. And I was really proud and excited na about 1,000 of us came to volunteer to help. We built 4 projects and organized it across 46 teams in general. So this really showcases that, apart from learning together and collaborating and sharing our thoughts, we actually put down, our minds, touched the, dealt with our keyboards and mouse, and actually wrote code for the country. So I wanted to share lang the result of that. No? So for 2020, collectively, the geeks that have worked on DCTX have helped 4.9 million Filipinos through our projects. The biggest one that we're all super proud about is Relief Agad, where we actually helped about 4 million Filipinos in terms of getting their social amelioration plan, yung ayuda nila, through an app we built very quickly. We also assisted about 1 million people traverse through the ECQ, the first ECQ in the country, safely for our frontliners through Rapid Pass. And then in addition to that, we built Trace COVID technology and Flag Express. So I wanted to shout out lang to all the DCTX volunteers and all of you who've helped in this process. No? So this kind of showcases na if we work together, we can achieve a lot of things. So the first project that we did, I think this was built in 3 weeks. Simula nang we were requested by the IATF to help to the moment we tested it on the field sa mga checkpoints and all the way out to really deploying it around the country. So it's a system that allows us to help our frontliners get through the checkpoints and to help our police and checkpoint officers be able to accelerate the traversal of mga frontliners across the checkpoint. So I wanted to show you a quick video of this.
Every second matters in the fight against COVID-19. For frontliners and priority vehicles, checkpoints have become crucial in administering the safety and security of the community. With Rapid Pass PH, frontliners can pass through checkpoints quickly through its fast and simple system. Rapid Pass PH removes congestion, speeds up vital deliveries, and protects checkpoint frontliners through contact-free verification. Simply go to Rapid Pass PH on any smartphone or electronic device and apply by submitting the required information, then wait for approval. Once your application is approved, a QR code will be sent to you via text or email. Simply print the QR code or save it on your smartphone. Have it scanned by checkpoint personnel and wait for the go signal to go through. Don't waste any more time. Apply for your Rapid Pass today. This project is developed by the DevCon community of technology experts in collaboration with the Department of Science and Technology. Every second
So I just wanted you to know, to those who volunteered to Rapid Pass, we had about 700,000 applications received in 3 weeks. We produced 900,000 QR passes, secure QR passes released in about a month. We deployed in Metro Manila. Ito, matapang talaga. We have DevCon volunteers and DCDX volunteers na went around during the pandemic to help our police. 800 scanners were donated, and we trained 300 IATF personnel and nilatag to across 170 checkpoints to support 40 agencies in the government. And guys, I just want to let you know this was done in a few weeks. And the volunteers were not just coders, but we also have people that are deploying the infrastructure, working on installing on the phones. As you notice, it's also important na when we think about geeks, it's not just the code, but also everything around it. Kahit yung video na yan was produced by DevCon itself across volunteers. And we had PMs, business designers. Talagang, if we talk about productivity for today, this probably is a pinnacle of high productivity, diba? We have an emergency. We have volunteer people so that we just met for the first time and actually sat down using GitLab, wrote code, and deployed it, and worked with the government and deployed the checkpoint. So really proud about the work that DCTX has done to do that. No? So really excited about this. Ito yung una nating project, and then that was followed by Relief Agad. This time naman, we had a different problem to address. A lot of people were supposed to receive money really quickly, and then ang problem is that again in pandemic, diba, they have to line up to their barangays so that they can get their ayuda. And in order for them to get their ayuda, they have to fill out a very complex form, and maraming nakaw, maraming sideline, maraming kupit, all the while na nangangailangan yung mga tao. So this was again a request by the government, this time naman with the SWD, and the request was that help us write software so that we can have people register at the comfort of their homes, so that we can delete and remove fraud, and that we can help about 18 million people get their social amelioration, and hopefully digital na rin yung pagbigay sa kanila ng ayuda. No? So we responded to this call, and I wanted to show you the output naman, the outcome of this.
Paano ba mabilis magrehistro sa tulong pinansyal sa ilalim ng Social Amelioration Program? Kung kayo ay may Social Amelioration Card na, pwedeng magrehistro sa Relief Agad gamit ang cellphone. Puntahan lang ang www.reliefagad.ph at sundan ang mga steps na ito. Step 1. I-scan ang barcode sa ibaba ng Social Amelioration Card form. Kung hindi ma-scan ang barcode, i-click ang manual entry. Ilagay ang inyong rehiyon, district at syudad o munisipyo at kopyahin ang numero sa ilalim ng barcode. Step 2. Ilagay ang inyong pangalan, kasarian at iba pang personal na impormasyon. Ilagay ang address, trabaho, buwan ng kita, pinagtatrabahuan, at kung may ibang benepisyong natatanggap. Step 3. Ilagay ang lahat ng miyembro ng pamilya. Step 4. Para mabilis matanggap ang ayuda, piliin ang alinman dito: cash, PayMaya, GCash, o bangko. Kung bangko ang napili, ilagay ang account number ninyo. Maaaring may kaukulang fee ang GCash, PayMaya o bangko pag nag-cash out sa agent o nag-withdraw sa ATM. Step 5. I-check kung tama at kumpleto ang lahat ng detalyeng inyong ibinigay. Sumang-ayon kung lahat ay tama. Step 6. Hintayin ang one-time PIN na inyong matatanggap at ilagay ito sa form. Step 7. Isumite. Ang ginhawa magrehistro. Kaya nga, Relief Agad! Magrehistro na sa www.reliefagad.ph. Paano ba
Yan guys, so I wanted to let you know na we deployed this, no? So ang galing ng pagka-organize ng mga team. I know today we're talking about productivity, no? So this really highlights that productivity. Again, 3 linggo lang yung binigay sa atin para tapusin to. And a lot of people wrote code very quickly, very fast. And the other thing to highlight here is, I think it's probably the most scalable platform we built in the Philippines. I remember nung nagbibigay ng ayuda, one of the days during that week that we were doing mass registration, the system actually peaked out of 1 million registration per day, and hindi naman sumuko. Thank God yung ating mga cloud computing providers, but it was fun to see as developers na nag-scale yung code ko, maabot ng 1 million transaction per day. But really the more important part is nakatulong siya. This really removed the need for people to not have to line up, not to expose themselves to any further danger, and most importantly, nakatulong siya na mapadali yung pagpadala ng pera dun sa mga nangangailangan ng ayuda. So I wanted to let you know, this is kind of one of the times na that you're proud about the technology work that you do. And again, I want to thank the entire tech community in the Philippines for being a part of this. No? So the bottom line here is we have the ability to help the country. We have the ability to use our skills in technology to provide when needed by the country. And most importantly then, I wanted to share with you na yung mga nakatumulong, natutulungan din. I think one of the areas I want to highlight is that the developers that have participated have found a way na parang hindi ako parang nasa bahay lang, wala akong nagagawa during the pandemia, or I feel like I'm part of the solution, or I have enhanced my career in learning. And I can prove to you that marami sa mga kakilala ko sa DCTX have found better jobs, have found a better outlook in their technology perspective, have found better tools to be more productive, and more importantly, have found a better community to work with. That's really the sense of that community during the pandemic is really strong, and let's make sure we carry that momentum going forward. So with that naman, ang mission namin sa DevCon continues to be stronger. We wanted to continue to create vibrant communities of software experts enabled with open source. So we're really anchoring on open source to deliver impactful digital solutions for our country. And then with the vision of, we hope that in not too distant future, we have a digitally transformed Philippines para sa lahat, for all. So quick highlight lang ng DevCon. So DevCon has grown now to have 4 pillars in its activities. Unang-una yung content, like participating with you today to share knowledge, best practices, and ideas. But we've expanded the role of DevCon to also now have code. So because of that pandemic, ang dami na nating code that continues to be open source. So meron na tayong sarili nating authored open source in the Philippines that most other countries in the world can use, kagaya ng RapidPass and ng Relief Agad. We've now aligned the initiatives of DevCon content and code to causes, on how we can impact the Philippines and the rest of the world, and how we can partner with government to really deliver solutions under the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And then for today, obviously, the most important part is to translate, everything that we do for better careers, better opportunities in business and entrepreneurship. So DevCon continues to be an important part of the community, along with the tech communities in the country. We continue to be a part of your collaboration. And, sa DevCon naman, we're growing. So we've made DevCon more of DevCon for all stages and all ages in general, in terms of what we're trying to do. And then finally, DevCon has been working quite closely with the government, companies, Tech Week, tech communities, as well as businesses, and as always, na-highlight namin dito yung aming partnership with all the tech communities in the Philippines. DevCon does not particularly favor any particular technology. We welcome and love all the tech in the Philippines. We especially love the ones that are focused on open source, and we've been working quite closely with the government. So I wanted to highlight what we've been doing at DevCon. I wanted to just share also that a lot of our DevCon members have also grown to become parts of startups. So I wanted lang to show you this last video. This talks a little bit about my own company, but I wanted to share with you that what we've learned in the pandemic is very important. It's a springboard for us to look into the future, and it provides hope na after nitong pandemic na to, we're gonna come out, we're gonna bounce back, and we're gonna have better opportunities in tech. So if you allow me, I'm gonna share you the last video that we have, and this talks a little bit about some of the DevCon volunteers, some of members of my own company, and some of what I'm doing to grow opportunities. Yeah, and so hopefully that was helpful for everyone. I'm really grateful for what I have, what tech has done for me personally. I'm really grateful to be a part of your community here, Tech Week, through DevCon. I wanted to share with you na, it's time to be optimistic again. I know we're not quite out of the woods yet with the pandemic, but when you're in tech, there's hope. And I wanted to make sure you guys know na we drive our future. And while the pandemic disrupted our lives, we will continue to use that as an opportunity to sharpen our tool, to sharpen our ourselves, and to even strengthen our community. And then from that, pwede na nating tignan yung future as something that we can all look forward to. And I really hope everyone spends the time and effort and the collaboration to participate in everything that's going to happen this week with the Tech Week. I wanted to wish the organizers more power. Alam ko mahirap tong ginagawa nila. And I wanted to encourage everyone to make the most out of it. And I look forward to interacting with you as well. And thank you for your time and attention. Again, my name is Winston Damarillo. I'm the president and founder of DevCon Philippines. And I also hope and invite all of you to become members of DevCon. So with that, maraming salamat, the organizers of Tech Week. And Michael, back to you. Miguel, back to you. Thank you.
Ayan, so even na tayo, Sir Winston. So thank you again. Thank you for your inspiring work at DevCon. I think it's always wonderful to have organizations working to dev in the name of social good. And it's equally inspiring to have individuals working in their own time towards the same. So sinabi ni Sir Winston, guys, wag lang kayong tatambay-tambay lang during the time of pandemic. If you have the time, if you have the resources, why not put some time and effort into developing apps for social good? So you guys can do that through DevCon Philippines. Thank you again to Sir Winston. And before we continue with the rest of our program, we have a bit of a 10-minute partner talk that will be brought to you guys by one of our co-presenters, Manulife. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Randy Habok. He is the IT director of Manulife, and he will be speaking as a partner of PH Tech Week 2021.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. So, first of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. And thank you, PH Tech Community, for allowing Manulife to be part of this exciting event. So, uh, I'll introduce myself. I'm Randy Habok. I'm one of the directors of engineering at Manulife. One of my role is a site director for the Canadian Division Technology Group. So I'm responsible in finding and attracting engineering talents to join Manulife. and as well as ensure that our engineers has all the resources they need to be successful, engaged, and happy working at Manulife. I'm also part of the engineering transformation team, and I run Manulife University here in the Philippines. I'll talk more about this later. I'm here to talk how we do engineering transformation at Manulife and some opportunities that you might be interested in. So let me share my screen quickly. There. I hope you can see my screen now. There. Good. So last 2016, Manulife, a 34 years old global financial institution from Canada, made a commitment to transform into a digital-centric organization. And last 2017, Roy Gorey, CEO of Manulife, stated that we need to transform our business to be a much more of a technology-driven company. We need to become much more customer-oriented organization. And quite frankly, the entire industry does. In many ways, if I'm absolutely honest, our industry is still in the dark ages. At that time, Manulife embarked on a journey and started their engineering transformation. And fast forward today, Manulife embraced the change and aligned their teams to different squads working on different value streams. And in the midst of their engineering transformation, Manulife recognized the engineering talents that we have here in the Philippines. And today, I'm very happy and excited to inform everyone that Manulife is expanding their Canadian division technology in the Philippines. This year, we are targeting to hire 160 engineering talents and 200 engineers by 2022. Most roles are open to seniors, intermediates, and associates. And kung mapapansin nyo dito, we do have a lot of roles that are open from front, back end, full stack engineers, quality, test automation engineers, platform, cloud, DevOps, data engineers, security engineers, solutions architect, product owners, engineering managers, and directors of engineering. Now, if you're going to ask what type of technology are we actually looking for, honestly, we are using JavaScript, uh, Java, .NET, and other technology stack. However, if you don't have the skill set for these technologies, it's actually okay. You can still apply and join us because we're really looking for good engineers with a good foundation and fundamentals in coding. So just a quick lang then to for some frequently asked questions, no. Kailan babalik sa office? Honestly, I don't know, and Manulife don't know as well. But the only thing that I'm sure is Manulife prioritize the health and safety of all our employees. So what I can be sure of is as long as hindi pa safe bumalik sa office, we're not going to go back to the office. And with this pandemic now, one thing that it teach all of the organization is that working from home actually shoots the productivity higher since last year. And that's why these opportunities and roles are we are opening this outside for applicants that are outside of Metro Manila then. So we do have some opportunities for a permanent work from home setup. So if you're from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, these roles are also open for you as long as you do have a good internet connection. So if you want to know more, uh, you can go to developer.manulife.ph. And one more thing, kasi ito yung palaging tanong. Kasi Canadian Division Technology, no, ano yung shift? Well, actually, majority of the 160 will be working on a day shift, and some will actually work on a mid shift then. But definitely, we're not going to do some night shift. So let's go back to the topic of engineering transformation. No? And as I've mentioned, I'm part of this team, and what we do is to actually help Manulife to transform. So our strengths lie with experimentation and continuous learning. Now the question is, how do Manulife do engineering transformation? No? One thing that I can say is that we focus heavily in transforming our employees. And I do think that any type of transformation, we really need to start with our employees. At Manulife, we believe in helping our employees be awesome. As awesome employees forms hyper-productive teams, and a hyper-productive team takes care of our customers by continuously delivering value. Manulife invested on enabling our employees to have access on different learning platforms. You can see on your left that all of our employees have access to LinkedIn Learning, Get Abstract, and Percipio, while all of our engineering employees has access to Pluralsight. These platforms will help our employees learn new skills at their own pace. While we also have Manulife University, an instructor-led program. This is usually a classroom type of training, but now we run it virtually. So more information about Manulife University, it's actually an onboarding and upskilling program. All new engineers goes to an onboarding program that teaches the standard technology at Manulife. But we also have booster programs for existing engineers to do some upskilling. If you're an existing engineer and then you want to learn about reliability engineering, then you can just sign up and register on that program. Same with security engineering, AKS, quality engineering, performance, or even agile. We are constantly creating courses and programs that will enable our engineers to upskill. So if there will be new technologies, we're also going to update our programs as well. All these are great technical skills programs, but that's not the only thing that we teach at Manulife University. At Manulife University is a key factor in our engineering transformation. This is the venue where we break traditional mindset. So, kung sabihin ko yung traditional mindset, no, ano yung mga example nito? Ito yung, I think most of you are familiar with this statement, no? Yung, don't raise a problem if you don't have a solution. That's the mindset that we actually want to break in Manulife University. We inform and teach our engineers that it's okay if you don't have a solution as of now. Base the problem as quickly as you can, and let's find a solution to the problem as a team by doing rapid experimentations. We embed psychological safety by telling our employees that it's okay to fail. Failing fast and learning from it is actually valuable. We teach our engineers to solve problems with the end users in mind, using frameworks like design thinking, and then as well as we coach them on how to be agile and do agile and not be fragile. This is who we are, and this is the engineering culture at Manulife. If you're interested to learn more or be part of our journey, then please go to developer.manulife.ph. Coming soon in the next month or two, we are also launching the Manulife internship programs. This is open to all engineering students and non-engineering students. So what will the students expect, no, for joining the internship program? You'll be allowed to actually join Manulife University. That's a very good opportunity for you to learn the standard technologies that are being used in Manulife. You can work and learn with different squads, organize and participate in engagement activities like hackathons, hackathon, and many more. There's also a very good opportunity to work with other interns across the globe and start building your network. And if you want to have kind of a taste of our Manulife University, I would like to invite every one of you to register and join some of my colleagues, Maricar Alvarado and Ron Del Rosario. Will talk about full stack JavaScript development with MERN, and then as well as the end-to-end delivery that we do in Manulife. This is going to be tomorrow at 5 p.m. And we do have our second session that will be conducted by our very own Manulife University coaches here in the Philippines. Getting started with REST API using design first approach with Swagger and Open API spec. Dewey Almeida and Angela Accorda will be conducting this on Thursday at 5 p.m., May 20. So if you're interested and want to learn more for the third time, please go to developer.manulife.ph. And if and these are also the links that we have for Manulife and MBPS. That's all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Okay, guys.
Michael.
Yep. So again, if you weren't able to catch that link, that's developer.manulife.ph. So sa mga naghahanap pa ng trabaho dyan, guys, pagkakataon nyo na to. They will not only employ you, but they will train you as well. So Manulife is giving great opportunities here to the Filipino developer. So again, guys, developer.manulife.ph. So thank you, Sir Randy. Thank you for your time, and thank you as well for partnering with us for PH Tech Week 2021.
Thank you, Miguel. Michael, sorry.
Okay, guys, so we now have another, but before that talk, we would like to show a little bit of a video on behalf of Manulife. So ayan guys, uulitin ko pa one more time. That's developer.manulife.ph. So let's move along. In our next session, we'll be having um, a little bit of a shorter talk, but this one will allow you guys to interact with our speakers because we will be having a Q&A after. So make sure you leave your questions on YouTube on the comment section, and we will get to them at the end of each talk. So again, if you're just joining us, my name is Miguel N. Galase. I am your host for today, and welcome to PH Tech Week 2021. This is Monday, and our theme for this Monday is current trends for productivity. So now we have our next talk to be delivered by Eliza Salcedo, and she will be discussing how to remain productive in a work from home setup. So she will be digging into some tips on how you might want to maintain your work-life balance, keep your mental health afloat, and improve your productivity overall. So again, this is Miss Eliza Salcedo. She is the program director of Syntactics Pink. Let's give her a warm round of applause.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening. My name is Eliza Jean Salcedo, and today I'm going to talk about overcoming greatest challenges in a work from home setup. So, before we start, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Eliza. My nickname is Jai, and I am the Web Assistant Engineering Lead for Syntactics Inc. and the Program Director for Syntactics Pink. I'd just like to give a brief overview of what Syntactics Pink is. We started in 2017, and we've been organizing seminars. We've been partnering with the ICT and other tech communities in the Philippines to empower women, to encourage women, and then to increase the ratio of women interested in coding and tech. As we all know, the IT industry is more or less a male dominating industry. So we want to encourage more women and empower women not to be scared in coding and in tech, and like motivate them more to join. So our events are free. We partnered with ACT, we partnered with GDG, DevCon, um, Women Who Code, Paichada, Jungle Girls, to invite more women and then to let them see the wonders of IT and coding. And our event is not um, limited to people in IT, but also to women in the government, to women in engineering, in marketing, in businesses. Even moms are were joining in our events. Even kids. We had an event that is made exclusively for kids, and we are now back to encourage more women as well, even though we are in still in a pandemic and face-to-face events are still on hold, but we are trying our best to reach out to more women, and then during this pandemic they could increase their skills or enhance their skills more in coding. And maybe we'll have our next developer, or we'll have 10 more developers that will be more inspired and motivated to change the world, right? And code, and even inspire more women to help out one another, right? So I'm gonna start with this question: what's your work from home setup? um it's different from each for each person. Some people are using laptops, some people are using desktop. I use a desktop personally. And what I do have in my desk is I have my notebook, I have my pen, I have my tablet, and I have my headphones, my mic. And there are also some um employees. There are some developers that are using speakers. Some have a gaming chair, some an ergonomic chair. And so it really differs from person to person on where they are comfortable and what they currently have. So I've asked some of my colleagues, along with my co pinkers, or as I say, Cindy and Hazel. They're also some of the organizers for Syntactics Ping. They were able to help me out in asking some of our colleagues on what their current work home setup is. So these are some of the pictures that we've gathered from them. As you can see, some have dual monitors, some use a laptop, others have a gaming chair, others have an ergonomic chair, some has like a really nice scenery while they're working. So it really differs from person to person. And we asked them what they currently like about their current setup, what they currently don't like, and what they want to have. Okay, so some like the easy access to lounges, like the living room, the bedroom. Some wants the comfortable setup. Some like the scenery, no commute time or more time with family, more time with kids, good peripherals, flexible time, more time to sleep, more time with pets, a clean and organized area, and they can save more money because the commute and then the going out after work is cut short, right? Some dislikes: the unstable internet connection, the summer heat, especially now it's summertime, noisy neighbors, unscheduled power interruptions. These have been pretty frequent over the summer. Working in a common area wherein, especially if you're working in a living room, you may have your siblings like writing on modules or also attending online classes, or you have your mom also working, or your dad. Electricity and internet bill is increasing because you're most of the time 24/7 you're already in your house. More calls, you have to communicate more since you're not in your office, so you need to have frequent meetings and calls from time to time. Misses the office bonding, like hanging out with friends, having like activities, team building. Also, there's also some people who really miss that. Uncomfortable work from home setup. Maybe there are some who are like just using sitting in a comfortable chair, or they prefer not to um, work in this area, but that's the only area they have, and they really want to improve their setup. And then boring, so it really is kind of boring for others that they are in a work from home setup, wherein they are used to like going out after work or spending time with friends after work, and then now they're just stuck at home because of the pandemic. So that is also taking a toll on their mental health as well. And wish list. So they want to improve focus, maybe because there are some that they have background noises, or maybe like siblings are annoying, or some also moms or asking for errands from them, and so on. DIY comfy chair and table. They also want that. They're also working on it. A comfortable chair, like a good ergonomic chair or a gaming chair. On workspace, so some that are like just using their bedroom, just using a table, and then they don't really have their own home office, so they also want that. Accessories, like good accessories, like a headset, a mic, good headphones, good keyboards. Purchase aircon and upgrade chair for better ergonomics. So that is really a good investment to have, especially now in the summer heat. And then if you have a bad chair, then your posture might be affected. Upgrade current workstation, go back to office space. Some are not really used to work from home and they really prefer the office space. And others want bigger windows for a great scenery, or they want more natural light to go inside their room. So, according to a recent survey, 88% of the organizations worldwide made it mandatory or encouraged their employees to work from home after COVID-19 was declared a pandemic. So everyone was really forced to work from home so that it so that everyone will have less exposure to the pandemic, and it's much safer that way. And 77% of workers feel companies will be more open to or pushed to allow them to work remotely once this global health emergency is over. So I think there are actually some companies already that have left like permanently the office set up, and like had everyone already working from home because they saw that the productivity of the staff are actually the same, or even or improved after they shifted from office to home. And this also varies from company to company. There are also some that have like skeletal crew, and then others are just working from home. But most of the workers feel that they want to have companies that will offer this after the pandemic. So especially if they're really already comfortable with working from home. 66% of small medium businesses cited reliable network connectivity as a concern when supporting remote working. So this is a really common problem for us. The remote work, an unstable internet connection really occurs like most of the day, or even in a month. There are some intermittent internet issues, so that's really unavoidable. But that's why we have no choice but to purchase a backup so that we won't be disrupted with our current work. And then 19% of remote employees report loneliness as their biggest challenge, especially if you're more of an extrovert where you're used to hanging out with people. So if you're already in a work from home setup, you feel like you're alone and you have no one to talk to, then it might take a toll on your mental health. So what really are the major challenges in a work from home setup, and how can I remain productive in despite them? So what I'm gonna show now are some of the basics or the most common challenges in a work from home setup, especially if you're using office base. So first is the work-life balance. So right now, if you're working from home, you are literally working in your home. So there's the line between your work and your personal life is really thin. That sometimes they might mix, and even your emotions or your emotional health might affect like your work stress you might bring to your personal stress, or your personal stress you might bring to work, because your home is your office. and then also they either slack off or work harder. So there are some people they're slacking off because I'm at home, I'm very chill, I should enjoy this. Or there are also others that are really comfortable in their homes that they tend to work harder. So the balance between the work and your personal life may be affected. Next is the disruption in routine. Now that, example, your shift starts at 8, some people even just wake up at 7:45 or 7:50, right? Like minutes before you start your shift, and you end up with the pictures here. I myself am guilty. I think also some of the people I know are guilty with this as well, especially if you don't have any calls scheduled for that day, or your calls don't require a camera or just the top part. So that's why some people are professional at the top but wearing shorts, or just wearing boxers or even basketball shorts at the bottom. So that is already disrupting your routine, because if you are from office based, you are used to waking up early, taking a bath, brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, and then commuting to work. So even though the relief of not spending time taking a bath, yeah, preparing breakfast and traveling to work is an amazing feeling, it may be alarming because it might degrade your productivity, because you're like slacking off and your body's just telling you that you're at home. You don't need to work that much, something like that. Next is failure to network. This is also starting in the pandemic, or people are more used to working at home, and then they're not really comfortable already going out. Even when the pandemic ends, like they're so used already to being at home. So just stay here. I don't want to join any event. So you might be really affected in this. Um, One of the things that we have greatly affected on, yeah, it's because of the pandemic. We miss the talks, we miss the swags, the friends, and the food. And then also tech communities and organizations are a great way to meet new mentors, meet more professionals, meet people who have the same interests as you, but they are on hold, or they are not possible at this time. So it's something that we really miss. So when was the last time you really joined that community event? My last event was face to face event is in 2019, and that's really, like, it really feels like a long time. So I miss meeting new people. I miss networking to more organizations, because there's really a big difference between meeting them in like a screen and meeting them personally, right? Next is background noises. So these two are your best friends during the call. They're pretty they're pretty annoying. They're Nothing is better than these two to sabotage your meeting, and they usually are very noisy during your calls. So they may make you irritable, and especially if you're in a potential client meeting, or you're discussing with your lead or your mentor or your manager, and then they hear the noise of your dog or the noise of your chickens in your background. It may seem unprofessional. So that's why it really is important that you live, or you have soundproofed your work area, or you just need to make sure that these two are not noisy. Next is isolation. So what looks like a busy workspace may feel like an empty room. So you may feel like, I've mentioned before, someone said that they may feel like they're already bored, or it takes a toll on your mental health, that even though your workspace is nice, you have everything you want, but you have no one to talk to, or you really miss your closest friends at work. So it may feel alone, especially during this pandemic where movement is limited. People may feel alone when working from home. So that's also a bad disadvantage, or a disadvantage in working from home. Next, it takes a toll on your mental health. So is it really more stress free, or more relaxed? So 41% of employees who more often work from home versus on site consider themselves highly stressed, compared to the 25% of those who worked only on site. So why is that? Even I should be more relaxed now because I'm working from home. But why is it there's a higher percentage of people working from home? So as I've mentioned before, it's the work life balance, and people most of the time are undivided, or they really don't know the difference between working from home and just like enjoying your personal life. So it doesn't it isn't necessarily like a bad thing. It does, but it really is greatly affecting someone's mental health, especially if you are the type of person who is hardworking and is really trying their best to save money, to work for their families, especially if you already have a family or you have a loved one that you're working, or you have something to really save up for. So it really does take a toll on your mental health, and that may greatly affect you in the long run. Next is time management. So especially if you have the privilege to work in flexible hours, so some may slack off and sleep like the whole afternoon or the whole morning and then just proceed with work in the evening. So if you have this kind of setup, your sleeping patterns may be messed up, or you haven't you lost track in time. That's why time management may also be a hindrance or a bad um trait that you might have, or like a bad time management for working. Next is reduce supervision or direction. So usually when you're in work in your office, um you're beside your supervisor, you're beside your manager, and when you have a question or you have a concern, you can just call them or ask them for help, and then they're just automatically be beside you and assisting you in your needs. But with the work from home, the effort to contact them maybe twice because of like calls and texts, and then some may be also busy because they are asking for supervision like at the same time. So that also is a factor to consider. You have no like right direction, but I'm really thankful that there are also some people who are really with their peers, with their colleagues, who are really helping out during this pandemic. But that may be a good time for you to like self do self learning, and like exploring more on your advantages, exploring more on your skills, and just have the supervisor tell you if this is the right thing or this is the wrong thing to do. But yeah, reduced supervision direction may be one thing that it's also a greatest challenge when you're working from home. So next up is communication issues. So communicating is um, it consumes twice the effort because most of the people aren't seeing face to face. So they have to be more concise or be more specific in the message that they're portraying. So it really takes double the effort, especially if you're chatting with a client or chatting with your staff. So you really have to make them you have to portray your message more clearly than the face to face ones, because it takes double the effort usually. So how do we overcome challenges and be more productive? So now that we've tackled some of the major challenges, and I know some of us have experienced those challenges. I myself have currently or am currently handling or struggling with those. So how do we overcome those challenges and be more productive in our work from home setup? So let's start off with switching up your workspace. So having an effective workspace brings normalcy and productivity to the situation. It's best that you have your own workspace, even though if it's just small, or you have a dedicated table and chair, it does give or boost up your productivity, or it really helps a lot. So 71% of the employees researched with good posture emit a higher level of confidence. So you have to sit properly and then it makes you feel confident. Like you're not like slouching, or you're not like, because sometimes when you slouch, it does give you back pain in the long run. And it also showed that the members of the study who experienced good posture were more productive at work to an impressive 75%. Because you have good posture, you're well balanced, you don't feel any pain. So it's more, you're more committed, or you're more focused on doing the job right. So a good home office setup should have the following: a good laptop or PC. Some use their personal laptop, some use the company issued units. Next is a desk. You have your own dedicated desk, an ergonomic chair. In my opinion, you do need to invest in a good ergonomic chair, because you're going to sit in your space for at most 8 hours. Some even go as high as 12 hours in working. So it really helps if you're sitting in a comfortable chair, so that you won't have back pain, or you won't be distracted, or you won't feel uncomfortable. Next is the extra computer monitor. Having 2 or 3 monitors really helps a lot, because you won't be out tabbing your browser, your IDE, and your terminal. So having dual monitors can increase your productivity. A good quality camera when you're having a call, and also a good quality microphone, so that your voice can be clearer to your colleagues or your clients. Next is noise canceling headphones, and this is also essential so that you won't get distracted by the background noises behind you. I also suggest that you can use Crisp. I've tried Crisp before. It filters out the voice. For example, if you have a background noise like your dogs or your chickens, if you have Crisp installed, it filters out the noisy background. It works most of the time, but there are some cases wherein if the background noise is already loud, so it might not filter out everything. But it did help a lot when I was having my calls. Of course, water, you have to stay you have to stay hydrated. Sorry, you have to stay hydrated, because you're gonna be working for like most of the day. So you have to have water beside you. Next is soft light, maybe like a lamp, especially if your work is at night. So having a lamp can like calm the eyes down. And of course, natural light. So it's nice to have like natural light in 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 front of you, or you're facing a window that has natural light, or you're in a room that has a lot of natural light coming in. Your space needs a desk or a table that is at work height. The industry standard is 29 inches from the floor to the top of the work surface. And also, if you're sitting down, it's recommended when you type, your arm should be at 90 degrees, so that it won't be like that. It's uncomfortable, or it's too low that you need to slouch. And also, keep your workspace away from your bedroom. This is really tempting, but it's best that if your workspace is away from your bedroom. And also, a nice tip: join Home Buddies. I just joined the group, and it's nice because some people are sharing their workspaces there, and it might you might get inspiration there, or you might get ideas on how to improve your workspace. So that's also a good community that you can join. Next is delegate your tasks properly. So use time management or project management tools to keep track of both your personal and work goals. So me personally, I like to write my to-dos on a planner, so that you can see there's not a satisfying feeling of just checking off, or like striking off a task that you've already done. So it also gives you an idea on what you need to do for the day, and not just like do like the day-to-day tasks. It helps that if you really have notes, and make sure that you don't forget anything. So these are some of the, if you're more on the digital side though, we have some to do list apps that you can try. We have the Trello, the Microsoft To Do, the Todoist, and Habitica. Habitica is a nice to do list because it's like a game. If you're a gamer, if you're more into like interactive apps, then you can try Habitica. This is a really nice one. And also participate in online training. So since face-to-face events are put on hold due to the pandemic, most tech communities and organizations have been organizing free online training like this one. It will be a good opportunity to expand your knowledge and your skills. So like for PH Tech Week, they organized um this event so that even though face-to-face events are still not available, then the energy is still there of having face-to-face events. It's like pretty much the same. Like we have the same topics, we have the same, but it keeps the momentum alive. Okay, so next is that you find a hobby so that you can improve as well your other skills aside from your technical ones that you do at work. So there are 5 types of hobbies that can improve your happiness. So first is you need to have a creative hobby so that you can improve your drawing, your artistic skills, even like music or songwriting. Next is you need to have a hobby to keep you in shape. So our bodies are made to move. So you need to find a hobby that can keep you active, like walking or jumping rope or like dancing or making TikTok dances if that's your thing. That's also a good hobby to have. Next, you need to have a hobby to socialize. Find a hobby that you can enjoy with loved ones. Some have a group or some like homebodies. That's also a good way to socialize with other people or like coffee. If you have friends or a group that likes coffee, you could have that. Next is a hobby to learn. Hobby to learn is you have courses that you can learn. Like I know someone as well. There are some people also that have garnered a lot of certificates from free online trainings that they also had as a hobby. It's a win-win situation that not only that you can learn, but also you added more credibility or you have more credits to your resume or to your skills. And lastly, a hobby that makes money. So since the pandemic has started, there are a lot of small businesses that are booming, which is a really, really good thing. We have friends, and I myself have a baking small business that started during the pandemic. And not only is it enjoyable, but it does also give you like a side hustle or that it could give you extra income. So those are 5 hobbies that you need to have so that you can be more happier. Next is exercise. So I'm really guilty at this. Um, it's easier said than done, but starting off from light to moderate exercise really goes a long way. So I've also seen a lot of inspiring people who had their weight loss journey during pandemic, and they're so good, they're so amazing, and then they just started off like really simple exercises until that they really lose all the weight that they wanted. They achieved their goal weight. And it's a really nice journey. And then not only is it like physically good, but it can also release serotonin, the happiness hormones. It also keeps you happy. It also keeps you active, and it keeps you healthy during the pandemic. Next is make it a habit to unplug. So pay attention to the time you spent on work. Don't overwork yourself because that really is a bad thing. It would take a toll on your mental health and your physical health as well. Limit yourself from viewing work-related emails and notifications after your work period. So some have muted their notifications after work shift. I think there's I think in Paris or in Europe, I'm not sure where, but it is a rule there that they should not entertain or they should not send out work-related emails after their shift. So that's a good um, way to keep everyone less intimidated or less stressed. Next is rest your eyes and take a nap or read a good book. So when I was doing a checkup for my eyes, the doctor told me that to keep your eyes like relaxed and keep it from straining, you have to look at the wind outside or outside the screen for like every 30 minutes. you have to rest your eyes somewhere or look at scenery and not look at the screen because it can strain your eyes. So that is really essential. And then just really like make it a habit to not check on work related stuff or even your social media. But if social media is what keeps you like relaxed, then that's okay. But if you're the type of person that doesn't want any screen time after work, then it's best that you just unplug it and just like rest. Next is get dressed. If you don't get ready for the day, your day never really starts. So instead of working from home, you're just at home with the occasional work check-in. So it's nice that you dress up for the part, like you dress up like you're really working. So I attended an event like early this year that she really discussed or she really talked about how dressing up is a good part or a good way to start your work. So it keeps you like productive. It makes your mind think, or it's a psychological thing that makes you think that I'm doing this right now. I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna be determined because I'm in my work outfit or in my work like bag or aura. So it's nice that you do work or you do wear like formal or comfortable clothes or your usual work clothes when you go to office. Next is make a routine. So as I've mentioned before in the challenges, there's a disruption in your routine when you're working from home. So following a routine similar to a routine when you work in an office can feel working from home less dragging and wires you to actually being productive rather than just sitting hours and hours just working. So if you practice your mind to have a routine like from waking up, it's just like an actual do like going to the office, but rather than having that time to commute, you could just utilize that extra time to, let's say, exercise or take a long walk or like watering your plants or having a playtime with your pets. So wiring that into your brain can simulate the feeling of like you're actually really going to an office and make you feel more productive. Next is talk to someone. So even the most introverted people, like I personally I'm a very introverted person. So it does play a part if you talk to someone, even your closest friends, your loved ones, your family, anyone that you really want to talk to. It's really helpful. It's really a good way to cope up with stress so that you could like talk to someone like how are you, even a simple hi, even a simple kumusta can cheer someone up and get back on their feet because sometimes being alone can be really lonely. So like every now and then frequent like check-ins with your loved one. Maybe your loved one might need someone to talk to and you might be the guardian angel that can really help them out. Next is, of course, prioritize your health. There will always be inevitable times when you may miss a meal or lack some sleep due to work, but it's always important to rehydrate, eat the right foods, and meditate to make up for it and treat your body right. Because nothing is better than having a healthy body and then the right mindset. So it's always good to drink your water, especially in this pandemic. Take your vitamins, eat the right kind of foods, because this pandemic is not a joke, and it's really nice if it's really good if you eat the right foods and just not slack off. Next, of course, is you do need to take a break. Even though it's hard, it's surprisingly hard to get at least 8 hours of sleep because due to work or even social media, TikTok, Netflix. It really depends on what's keeping you late at night. Even just your mental health might keep you up late at night, but it really helps, and it's really important that you get at least 8 hours of sleep. Next is reward yourself for your hard work. Don't be guilty. Some people are really guilty in rewarding themselves for their hard work, and that shouldn't be a thing because you deserve what you've worked long hours for. You've worked enough. Just because you're working at home doesn't mean that you don't need to be rewarded. So don't feel guilty in rewarding yourself. That's a really good thing because it can also determine in the long run to be more productive or to work harder so that you can get also of like more rewards for yourself because you need to treat yourself right. Finish the TV series you've been always wanting to. Your K dramas, like rewatching for the fifth time an episode of Friends or the season of Friends, watching your favorite K dramas, your favorite Western TV shows, anything to keep your mind off or to keep you relaxed is a really good thing to have. Learn that new recipe since you're already working from home. The kitchen is all yours, so you have more time to explore on new recipes, new pastries, new desserts. So this is your opportunity to shine. This is your time to shine. Next, play with your fur babies. If you're a dog lover or cat lover, you have some pets lying around, they can keep the stress like a little lighter. It keeps you stress free. So having a good good quality time with your pets can help a lot. And then also read a book if you're a book lover, or even if you're really not a book lover, or you have like self-help books, management books. Reading a book can really improve you or can really boost your like increase your skills or like help you to be a better person. So this is also one technique that I practice most of the time. This is a Pomodoro technique. If you're not familiar with it, it's a really good method so that you can really take the breaks that you really need. And what it does is that you work for 25 minutes, like undivided attention, no distractions work for 25 minutes. And then you use that 5-minute break to also not do anything work related. Like you want to go to the restroom, you want to relax, you want to like take a walk out the sun to mapapainit kayo, or and also anything, but as long as you keep your 25-minute work time just full of work, like dedicated, and also your 5-minute break, and then you do that 4 times, like 4 pomodoros, and then you then take your long break for either like your work or your lunch or your like break time. Especially if you have a flexible work schedule, this can really help in balancing your focus and like delegating tasks properly. So during these breaks, you can make it a habit to stretch, rest your eyes, or bask out in the sun. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I hope that you get to learn a thing or two from what I've shared. So those items that I've mentioned are also some of the things that I really practice, and I really try my best to practice, and I hope everyone is doing it as well. So if you have any questions or you want to reach out to Syntactics Pink, you can contact us at these numbers and on our Facebook page, and we are more than welcome to help you out if you have any needs. So I also sent here the sources for the statistics and some of the tips that I've shared over. So thank you everyone, and I hope you're staying safe in your home. Take extra good care of yourself. Don't forget to drink your water, and may you all have an amazing night. Thank you.
Hey, Fanny.
You have to mute your Zoom. It's
Wait.
Thank you, Eliza. Parang gusto ko na tuloy mag-online shopping ng work from home setup sa Lazada after nito. And speaking of which, tamang-tama guys. If you guys have been following our event closely, we do have a social media photos of the day contest. So we are giving away 5 Lazada vouchers worth 1,000 pesos, and we're doing that daily. So if you guys got some work from home setup ideas from Eliza's very inspiring talk, you guys might be able to nick a few good finds here and there. So remember, you have to post a photo highlighting your experience or thoughts on PH Tech Week with the hashtag PH Tech Week 2021. We will be selecting winners from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And you have to make sure your post is set to public. We will be announcing winners at the end of each day and on social media. Again, thank you, Eliza, I think it's wonderful to have organizations working towards closing the gender gap in tech, and we're really happy that you guys are working on that in Syntactics Pink. Maybe you can talk about that advocacy real quick before we head into our questions.
Okay. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Okay. So, like I've mentioned in my talk, we've started around 2017, and in especially in Syntactics Inc., we only have like a few number of women developers, and sometimes it feels like alone, even before. Sometimes it feels out of place that we don't have like a huge group of women who are developers. So that's why we're trying to break the gender gap, and we're trying to equalize the ratio of men and women developers by joining or by creating Syntactics Pink. So it is founded by our CEO and president, Ma'am Stephanie. She got this idea that we would organize events for free, and then we would welcome not necessarily people from the tech industry, but we also had events for moms, for kids, for students, and then we would introduce them step by step, slowly on how the technology works, how programming works. We also had like some Python, Vue. We also had block coding for kids. So we've been doing that, and then we've also partnered as well with other tech communities, and it's been a really nice journey. It's a good feeling that we've also inspired a lot of women as well that to join or to be involved in the tech industry. So yeah, it's been a really nice journey being with Syntactics Pink.
That's great. We're really thankful that there are organizations like you guys working towards that. So we do have a few questions from our audience from YouTube, and we would like to ask, do you set a timer for practicing the Pomodoro method? Mark, this is a question from Mark Anthony.
Okay. This is a good question. There are actually a lot of apps available in the App Store and then the Play Store that is meant for the Pomodoro method. You can just search it up. There's a lot, and there's even some one that is really a tomato UI type of app. I've tried that before, and it's a really good app so that you can manage really your Pomodoro time. And it's a good way to boost your productivity.
Yeah, great. I actually do have a question of my own because I did just start working at my new company during the pandemic. So I did only actually meet everyone remotely. So
Mhm.
how do you recommend getting acquainted with everyone? Is it something that you proactively go out and schedule a call during company time? Is that something that's fair? Is that something that you recommend doing? How would you go about just like meeting your coworkers for the first time outside of a work-based setting?
Okay. So in our company we usually introduce the new employees, and then we introduce them one by one. They get to say something about themselves, and sometimes when they're already involved in our projects, it's a perfect time to meet with everyone. That's a really good time so that they could aside from like working technically on the projects or coding, it's also a good opportunity for them to mingle with one another. So starting off with a project, or even suggesting to your HR or to your leads to organize a breakout activity, like just a weekly activity for everyone to join, even if it's not work related, just like simple games or icebreakers. That is a good opportunity also for everyone to be acquainted, and it's a really good suggestion that everyone should keep their mics and then their cameras open, because that's a common problem. People are too shy to open their cameras and mics, especially during the call. So it's if you're personally an outgoing person, you can also convince them, nah, let's turn on our cameras and our mics. We never know that maybe if we go out for essentials, we could bump into one another and we don't even recognize one another. So yeah, that's a good way to start like communicating or being acquainted with your colleagues.
Yeah, I think that's huge. That's something that we started doing at my previous company, and it really helps to acquaint um, yourself with not just a blank slate of people, but
Mhm.
people who are actually moving. So we do have another question from
Mhm.
Felino. How do you avoid procrastination, especially when what you need to do does not interest you?
Oh, okay. This is a good question. What I do personally though is that I set a goal. Like for example, when I'm in my work, there's like a goal that I want to achieve in my personal life, and then when I'm faced with this task or with this when I'm faced with a task that is not really of my interest, or it's something that I feel like I'm procrastinating, or it's something that it's really challenging for me and I don't have the right mood yet to work for it. What I do is just like take a break, and then I'll get back to the goal in mind that I have. Like, what's the main reason why I'm doing this? What's the main reason why I'm here? And then that's a good way. You can have like a mood board. You can have like your desktop wallpaper as your main goal on why you're still there and why you're still why you're doing what you're currently doing right now. So um going back to your goal and going back to what you're really there for, and just thinking that this is just a one-time thing, this is just a small thing, you'll get by. And don't never forget to take a break. That may be the reason that you feel like it's not of your interest. It's because you do not have the right mindset yet, and it's best that you could just take a nap, or even go back, or just watch anything that keeps you happy, and then you can then go back, and maybe the next time you go to work again, it may be the perfect time for you to work on it.
Great. I couldn't have said it better myself. And so I do believe we have another question from Wesley. So he says, what is the minimum or maximum amount of time that you would set for a meeting? And how many meetings would you think is advisable per week? And I guess this is more of within a work from home kind of setting.
Okay. So actually that depends on the project or your company standards. So in our case, we do a best time to have a meeting is weekly, like getting the updates for your project, or like a sprint meeting or a weekly meeting to get back on the updates that you're currently working on. And it's also nice to have another weekly meeting to mingle with friends, like a weekender meeting, like getting to know everyone, or just like spending quality time with them. As for the minimum or maximum minutes for a meeting, if you're just getting for updates on a meeting, it's best if you limit your meeting for 15 to 30 minutes, because and if the meeting exceeds like an hour or two, it might be a little overwhelming or information overload for the people you're currently working with. So 15 to 30 minutes is good, and then you can just extend the meeting if there are still like questions that needs to be answered, or there are still items that needs to be further explained. So yeah, that's a good time for like getting to know everyone. I think an hour is okay, or even just 45 minutes, is like getting to know, or just having good quality time with your friends over the internet.
Ayun, guys. So actually, I do believe we have one more question from our audience on YouTube, but that's coming from News Media Nest. So he's asking, is it true that a meeting without food should be an email?
Is it true that a meeting without food should be an email? That really depends on the goal. So if you feel like the meeting is long and it's not explainable via email, you talk to your leads, you talk to your HR, pa-food panda kayo, or pa-grab kayo for the meeting. But yeah, it really depends. So if you feel like as part of the team or as part of the group, you feel like this conversation or this meeting could be an email, then don't hesitate to talk to them, and you can just justify why this meeting is okay if it's just an email, or if it's over Skype or Slack, or other like communication tools, because sometimes meetings in within the day or within the week can spend so much time in your actual work that needs to be done. So it's a matter of negotiating with your leads, negotiating with your teammates on whether or not this agenda should be a meeting or just an email.
Ayan, guys. So you heard it from the master herself. She says that you should not be organizing meetings kung walang pakain. I'm just kidding. But thank you so much, Eliza, for gracing us with your presence. We've learned so much. And again, parang nakaka-inspire. Gusto na namin mag-shopping sa Lazada to up our work from home setup Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Okay, guys. So again, I just want to remind you, we do have a contest running for social media photos of the day. So we do have a giveaway of 5 Lazada vouchers worth 1,000 pesos. So if you post a photo highlighting your experience or thoughts on Tech Week with a hashtag PHTechWeek 2021, you will give yourself a chance to win those Lazada vouchers and up your work from home setup game, like Eliza mentioned in her previous talk. But that's enough work from home setup talk. Let's move on to something a little more technical to close the evening. So we will be having one last talk for you guys. This is basics of Python's automated unit testing by Dr. Sony Valdez. He is a representative from Python Philippines. So Dr. Sony Valdez is a programmer with over 15 years, guys, of professional experience. He specializes in backend with Python and C++. And as someone who has a passion for teaching programming, he travels around the country giving Python workshops to schools and Python training at corporate settings. He also enjoys giving technical talks at various conferences such as PyCon Philippines. And he does say that he is mostly harmless. So we would like to welcome to the virtual stage Dr. Sony Valdez.
Hello, everyone. Okay, let's see now. So let's go straight to the talk, which is the basis of Python's automated unit testing. I did not share the screen. Give me a sec. Sharing the screen. Okay, I want to share this. There we go. Mirror effect. All right, so basis of Python automated unit testing. So some house rules. Ask questions on chat during the talk. I have my phone right here, and I'm ready to, what's this called? To answer your chat in real time. Okay lang na matadlist tayo for comments. But for the benefits of our international friends, listeners, I'll be speaking in English. And made some noise in chat. How do we start this slide? Right, about this talk. Okay. We're just going to focus on the basic of automated unit testing. So we're not going to go deep. And this is aimed for beginners and those looking to apply unit testing. Aside from the Python code, this talk should be accessible to other programming languages. Like I said earlier, this is not a deep dive. We're going to talk about how to apply unit testing. Yes, thank you, Sir Bob, for the noise. The link to the talk and code will be shared later. As mentioned earlier, my name is Sony Valdez. I can be found on Twitter at Mr. Valdez. I am a Python and C++ programmer. I play a lot of games. I'm a nerd. And I swear, I am mostly harmless. What is automated unit testing? It is code that automatically tests your software for you. It is code that checks if previously fixed bugs come back. So, it is also a metric for the development progress on software specification. Let's go for each one. The first one, code that automatically tests your software for you. We've been there as developers. We do test our code almost every day. Something breaks, we try to fix it. We send it to our beta users, to our alpha users, to our testers. They find problems, and they tell you, please fix this bug. With automated unit testing, you can just write the code that tests the software. So no need to have somebody look into your program. They don't need to, they don't need to bother you. And if you did your code very well, you then go back or rather, code that you created before, unit tests that you created before, then also apply in future. So even if your testing is from the beginning of your project, it can still be useful later. It is also a metric for development progress. So I'm sure everybody has been given specification on how the project, how the software is supposed to work. And sometimes it feels as if you don't find the end to the development. It's as if you're still working on stage 1 or stage 2 or iteration 1, iteration 2, and you don't feel that you're finishing the software. With automated unit testing, you then simply, the software then tell you, hey, you're 50% done, 80% done. You're almost there. Proof that code is working as intended. Or the subtle but stays down. And there's a sense of achievement. We will be using the Python unit test library. Now, there are many unit testing frameworks, but since unit test is in the standard library, it comes bately included with Python if you install it. That's why a lot of frameworks such as Django will use this as the default. Does automated unit testing work for all types of software? It works on a lot of software, even if you do not have the code for that. So there was a time when I was brought in to test a server, or rather to create code for a server. And I basically created unit tests to test a specific function on that server. So yeah, you can use Python automated unit testing for all types of software. Front end, back end, UI, web development, and so on. Yes, this is not the techie hour. Thanks, Erwin. Now, unit test is similar to Java's JUnit. So, if you were to do a crossover work with Java or another programming languages that is just like JUnit, it's easy to switch language. It applies. Here we go, live coding. We will be making a test for a simple program. Emphasis on the simple. We will not focus on how the program works. I'm pretty sure everybody in chat would react on how basic the program is, but our focus would be on the test. And let me know if the window is too small. So I'm assuming everybody could see this. I have codes here. Paste that. Yes. And the main program. Let's see. Hide. So I'll show you I'll show everyone what a basic test looks like. Is Python programming somewhat similar to MATLAB code? I'm not familiar with MATLAB, so I cannot say, but I believe there's a Python library that is similar or copies MATLAB style of coding. Matplotlib, yes. So Matplotlib is the library that is similar to MATLAB. If you know MATLAB, you can do Matplotlib. Back to the code. So we're trying to, I forgot to bring out our specification. Where is that? This is the program that we're going to create a test on. It is a program that can create an entry to a database with their name and post. Basically a CRUD or trade, read, update, delete program. It is the fundamentals of programming. The user then read a specific post. The user then read all posts, delete, save to this, and load from this. Try to imagine this in a real-world scenario. You go to a client and they give you specs, or you talk over what the specs are supposed to be, and you come up with something like this. So as you can see, we're just simplifying the 6 simple specs, simple unit, which is all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this is 5 and 6. And this is 4. Yeah. So what does a unit test looks like in Python? Or rather, what unit test looks like? Simply like this. You have a class, call the class something like test, and then maybe the name of your application, or maybe specs or something. And inherit from unit test, that test case. Let me know if you can't read the text, or check out on live chat. Let's run the code. And we have 6 failures. What this is trying to tell us is we failed all of the specifications that we created. Granted, we did that on purpose. When we're creating tests, we need to first make sure that it fails, like what we did right here. And then we what's this called? Make the tests for this specific. We made the code for this specific test. Before continuing, I need to show you what our app looks like. So our app is just this, as simple as we can, because our focus is on testing. We have a post which says ID, the author, and the @where post. We have here the app, and the app has a constructor, add post, that all posts, that post, delete, save, and load. If we look at our specs, okay, so this is the 1:1, 1:1 to our specs. Add, I added it backward, give me a sec. There we go. So that post, number 2, that all posts, delete, save, and load. I would probably use this to check students' lab code. Yes, Jerwin. So one of the things you can do with automated unit testing is to create a way to check code for your students. I did this before, and well, they were kind of surprised that a computer was grading them instead of me. They just submit their code, and I tell them you got 70 something. Going back, what do we want with our add post? So this is our testing, and we want to first create an instance of our app. I think I imported, yes. And then from here, we need to create a example post that we're going to put into the app. So parameter is, it's going to be the author. Where then I use our friend Anonymous and a post. Hello world. And we're going to add that post. What happens here is this dictionary will be converted into parameters which will be passed to add post. How do we test that post is successful? Well, we then have add post return the @where post, and then we're going to assert. Assert is the key to unit testing. So we need to assert that post that author is equal to param author. And the same goes for the post. So this is the simplest post that simplest unit test we did do for our spec. Before I continue, I need to talk about assert equal. Where is my, here we go. Assert equal, we need Python library for unit tests. You see, the secret to being a programmer is to always have your documentation ready. Wow, live test-driven development. Well, that's how I roll. So here are the different assert that Python unit test uses. There's more, but let's focus on just a few. Here is assert equal. If A is not equal to B, it will return as a fail. Same with not equal, true, false, is, and so on. There are more, of course. There are less than, greater than, races, warnings, large, assert that you get an exception, and so on. So we have this test. Notice that we made the test first before making our application. One of the things that you need to know about test-driven development is the idea that you make the test first without the implementation. That way, you can be sure that the implementation is correct. The unit test is there to test, to make sure that your code follows the specs. I hope that made sense. It made sense in my head, but nobody lives in my head. If we run this code, or rather if we run the test, you can see that it has failed. Test add post has failed as an error. It's going to be very inconvenient to see all of this when we're just interested in one. So I'm going to fail fast. It means as soon as there's a failure, the automated unit test would stop. Our error is on line 14, which makes sense because, where is line 14? This one. Add post returns nothing. We haven't started making our code yet. So let's do that. We already made the test for add post, and we're going to make the implementation of the application. Again, our focus is on the test. So if you don't like how I coded this application, well, I'm going to upload this on GitHub and play. You all then play with it. So we need a post that takes the author and the post. We need the ID, and ID should just go up and return the post. And we're going to append the post here. So when we're trying to be as simple as we can, all this does is add these two to a database. Let's try it. How did that fail? Well, I didn't meant to do this, but hey, at least that's how live coding works. Expect bugs. We're here to learn. We're not afraid of bugs, right? So it says here that this is author, and the second is anonymous. So author is not equal to anonymous, so there is a fail. Let's do a tweak debug. Param, anonymous author. Why does it not work? Param, author. That's weird. Oh, did I miss a asterisk. There we go. So we succeeded. I then show that I succeeded by going to verbose. So this is verbose. And you can see that we passed the first test. We then add post. For the benefit of others who did not see the bug earlier, if you use asterisk, it returns the keys for the dictionary. If you did it as asterisk asterisk, then this converts the dictionary into this. So this is the asterisk asterisk param. Basically, the key is sent for the parameter name, and the value is sent as a value for that parameter. It's a subtle bug, but hey, this is proof why we need automated unit testing. I forgotten about this, and this is my safety net. Let's continue. Delete post. Let's make a delete post. So how do we do this? Well, we need to add posts. So we can take this and then have the app get the post. How do we do this? Self app delete post. Post ID. Sorry, it's delete. That post ID. All right, so what does delete post do? Create an app, trade this parameter, and add that as a post, delete that post, and make sure that we did a non-existing post. So let's give that a try. That's not right. Okay, I see the problem. Basically, we get the post and we did not put any check if that post exists or not. So the way I did that was, for this example, if the post is missing, it's going to generate an exception called post not found. I'm pretty sure you as a programmer would think of a better way of developing this, of telling the API, having the API return not found. But for the purpose of teaching test-driven development, I made it as an exception. Pun intended. How do we do this? Self-uttered raises CRUD post not found. So what this does is, if that post doesn't raise this exception, it would return as an error. So post not found is expected to be not raised. Remember, we haven't developed the implementation for delete or get post. By the way, let me know on chat if I'm talking too fast. So I have a tendency to do that. Let's focus on get post. Oh, good. Thank you, Andre. So I could start with delete, but I want to start with get post because we haven't implemented delete yet. So if we implemented delete first and then get post, we will see that it would pass. This test would pass if we started with delete first, the implementation for delete. This is a roundabout way of demonstrating how assert trace is used. If I was doing this development normally, I wouldn't start with get post. I would start with delete, maybe. But let's start with delete with get post. For post in self data, if post ID is equal to ID, return the post. Otherwise, raise the exception post not found. So this is as simple as I can. And let's see. Post found not raised. That's strange. Oh, right. No, it makes perfect sense. Because this ID exists. I can prove that it exists by changing the post to something else. Like let's say 2813. And the post not found was raised because 2813 doesn't exist. Let's implement the delete. So for post in self data, if post ID is equal to ID, self.data remove the post and then return. So once the code finds the post, simple remove. And there we go, it passed. But that was a little bit unsatisfying. Give me a sec. I know that you can see that it works, but I want to prove that it works by putting a breakpoint. For those who are learning Python, breakpoint is amazing. This is outside the scope of the talk, but if you have the time, check out breakpoint. This is from Python 3.7, I believe, onwards. And for Python 3.7 below, you use import pdb, that's it. Nice breakpoint. Thank you, Erwin. Anyways, let's put a breakpoint here. There we go, breakpoint here. And we can see that this haven't run. We can check the data inside self.app and we can see it's empty because it has been deleted by this line. Q is for tweet. We're done with delete post. What's next? That invalid post. Okay. Oh, wait, before we go there, we're programmers. And lazy, and we don't want to repeat things over and over again. Earlier, I copied this, and pasted it here. And am I supposed to do it again over here? That's going to be a lot of code. What then we do is to use setup. Unit test has a setup and a till down. Setup runs before running the test, and till down happens afterwards. Why is this useful? Just we can just copy and there we go. So all of these tests now has a self.app and a self.param. So we wouldn't be repeating our code over and over again. Let's go back to the get invalid post. We need to assert traces that if you put a invalid post, nice breakpoint thing. Yeah, give me a sec. Sorry, my YouTube disappeared. Anyways, we're going to dead post 2814. It's just a random number. No need to look it up. Parang it's not defined. Here. So that invalid post now succeeds. We're just doing it simple. If doesn't exist, assert that it traces. Press low for that post. This is over here. How do we want to do this? We need to create a post, and then that post post ID and assert equal the retrieve post. Well, asserting that the post that we added, we then retrieve, and it should be equal. We run this, as expected, it's going to fail. Wait, why did it pass? Oh, something's not right. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. Problems of live coding. I did it backwards. I should have implemented get post first. Anyways, hey, here's another lesson. Sometimes the code that you're making already exists, and you just need to make a test. That is very normal. Sometimes you go into a project that the code is already there, and they just hired you to do the unit test, or you want to apply unit tests, apply what you've learned today to already existing code. So you can do it something like this. I need to be sure that what I just said is true. I want to double check. All right, tell me the retrieve post. There we go. I see a bug. Anyways, I'll go back to that in a bit. The author is anonymous and hello world. If we look at the post, it's exactly the same. I've noticed a bug. For some reason, ID is built-in function ID. We'll take a look here. It's because adding a post. I see. So in Python, ID is a function. So we are putting the ID of the function ID that is being put into the post instead of the ID that we're supposed to have, numeric ID. So this would work. This would fix that bug. See, we now have 0. But there was a bug, and we fix it first. What should we have done first is create a test. Let's just call this test bug. B is not added to post, something like this. So there's a bug where the ID is not added to post, and we're just going to assert is instance. Assert is instance. So post ID is supposed to be an integer. Did I get this right? We'll see. Bud ID. Okay, so built-in ID is not an instance of plus integer. So we created a test for that specific bug. And then if we fix that bug, it's not here anymore. Verbose. There we go. So it's okay. So this is one way to create tests for bugs. Because of this specific test, I am confident that months from now, years from now, or the worst case, somebody else touches my code, I'm pretty sure that this bug would not come back. Well, I say that, but hey, bugs are magical beings. One time you think there's just one, but apparently those two. They multiply if you look hard enough. Let's see now. We're going to work on. Wait, I better take out the break. Yes, it is funny. So we roll. So to saving and loading. So how do we do this? Well, first, we're going to create a lot of posts. Let's put in 2,814 sectors of posts. And we're going to keep our own database of the posts that we added. Of the data.append posts. And then we're going to have the app save. Then have the upload. And then confirm that there are 2,814 posts inside data. Or rather, inside the data of app. Has to be for I in range. No, for date for posts in self.data. We should try to get the post for that ID, and it should not raise a bug. It should not raise. So if sorry about that. So we have a list of data, 2,814. The fun thing about computers is they don't care how many times you made them do things. They would still do it regardless. We save, we load, and then we double check. Okay, we dusted the post and made sure that we do not raise any posts not found. And it failed. No, sorry. It succeeds. But are we really sure it succeeded? Remember, we haven't implemented save and load yet. So this succeeded because the data is still exists inside self.app, and doing save and load does nothing. In short, this test can be written better. Remember earlier when I said that if you're making a test, you make sure it fails first if the implementation haven't been developed yet? This is one of the reasons why. So how do we test this? We create a new app. A new instance of the app. And then we load that. And that's what's going to receive the post. So this is why object-oriented programming is very useful. You can create multiple instances of something, of an app or a class that you're testing. And I failed. Capital letter A. That was a, what's it called? Naming convention. It's just a naming convention. If it's an instance, it's small letter. If it's a class name, it has to be capital. There we go. So this test would raise a post not found because the post wasn't saved and wasn't loaded. So let's do that. Let's implement save and load. I just realized that we haven't done any. Yeah, get all posts isn't here. Okay. We're going to implement that later. Going back, we need to save. So how do we save? We just create a file. Let's call it records.csv. That's F. And then go to Google and search on how to do CSV. Because it's impossible for a programmer to memorize everything. So you need to know where to find code. There's code everywhere. You just have to know how to look. We need the right. I want the dictionary. There you go. So the dictionary writer. Another clue for everyone. Learn to use your IDE. So I use Notepad for one good reason, or rather two good reasons. First reason is it's very friendly when I'm teaching. No need to focus on IDE settings. And number two, it has transparency mode. So I can do something like this. So with open record CSV, I'm not even sure if this is showing on YouTube. I'm putting a bit. F writer. So field names first. Field names is equal to ID, author, and post. Then we create the writer. Given the field names. Also notice that I'm typing instead of copy pasting. I do it this way so I would have an idea on what I'm typing in. I can change it on the fly as I write in the code. Also, it's good exercise for the hands. For post in set of data, writer right row as a dictionary for the post. I believe I have no CSV imported. I have it imported. All right, let's give it a try. Run and expect to fail. There we go. But we generated the records.csv. And if we look at records.csv, it's basically a CSV of the record that we created. That is saving, and now we load. So this is the dictionary for loading. Reader, this is the dictionary reader, and F, and for data in reader, this would return the dictionary. So self.add post, and we need the ID, the author, and the post. Okay, we have the save, we have the read. We have the save, we have the load. Again, we're simplifying. We're just focusing on the unit tests. But in a normal project, you would use databases to save. So let's take a look. See. And it failed because add post states 3 additional but 4 were given. I forgot. So add post doesn't actually include the ID. And you should append this to the post. And it should work. Wait, no? What am I missing? So line, yeah, it's still there. Well, here comes the breakpoint. So show me the post. It's ID 0. I see the problem. It's returned as a string, and it should be an integer. Run. There we go. So saving and loading now works. Let's go to get our post. This was the test that was missing from earlier. And I can see how to do this. I just need to get 2814. Now, I know I said earlier that we should minimize copy pasting, but I'm now lazy. It's almost 9 o'clock. What we should do is confirm that there are 2814 posts. Okay, I done it. Get all posts and just confirm that there are 2814 created. Okay, so as expected, we haven't generated the implementation for get all posts. So there's a error. Let's go to the implementation, get all posts. This just basically return self.data. And then we pass. So get all posts now works. Again, we're focusing on the test, so I'm sure you as a developer would be using a database to extract all of the posts and maybe filter out depending on the user if they have access to that specific piece of data. Before continuing, any questions from the chat? All right, so I'll just continue. There is a bug here, which is what happens if you load the code, the application twice? Where's that? So here's the test. So what happens if we load it twice? Where's the get all post? So what should happen is up to the application and then load. So have the first app save and then load, and then assert that there are only 2814 posts. Take a look and it passed. But if we load it twice, it should fail. Wait, what? Okay, why did it succeed? Okay, load it should load, it would add the post. Okay. I put that bug in on purpose, and apparently that bug fits itself. Doesn't make sense. I'm loading from the original app. All right, so save on the first app, and then on the second, you get all the posts. But the second app would load twice. It should fail. There it is. It failed. It received 11,256. How did that happen? It's a bug. I don't want to think of the mysteries on why that happened. I thought it's a theme in VS Code. It's Notepad 2. Love it. Into France. I hope I pronounced that right, Fritz. Anyways, so loading twice fails. It's a bug because we are appending more data to loading and then appending it to data. So what we should do is clear our own buffer. Again, this is done for simplicity's sake. Let's see now. Why does it fail? It's not. Okay, load once and then load twice. This is a job for breakpoint. Okay. Up to is empty. There are 5,628. I got it. I've noticed that the number is increasing because if we look at our records, there are 2,815 records. If I run the test, because it's saving over that, where is that? I see records. That's weird. Okay, yeah, this is a real bug. Let's do it step by step. So load data in the buffer, all of the data from the reader. Naman, that's strange. That's 814. We saved that. There should be 2,814 on the save. So self app data. How many were saved? There are 2,814. But under app 2, there are 5,628. It's doubled. So 2,814 times 5,208 is, am I doing? 2,814 times 2 is 5,628. Yeah. So saving doubles. That's strange. Oh wait, no, I got it right. Let's see. No, we did clear that. I have 5 minutes. Session will have the Q&A soon. Yes, I better finish this then. Why are you doubling? Post at post appended. I see. At post already adds the post into the buffer, into the self data, and then we add this. That's why it was doubling. So if we continue this, it should no more bugs. So we have 100% unit tests. Now, notice I did the backend. Where is that? So this is the backend. And from practice earlier, I know that we do not have time to create a front end. So this is our front end. Later, once you have access to the code, you can play around with it. But basically, if I do Python main.py, I then, why did I do that? So I then delete a specific post and then try to look for that post. One not found. Add who's the author. Sony, this, and I don't know what the last number is. Records, let's see. It did not save. Kidding me. Okay, add new, Sony, hello world, all, no, hello PH Tech Community. And then save. So this should be number 2814. There we go, 2814. And we can see the records is saved as expected. I need to finish the presentation. If you have any question on what happened on the entire thing, just ask on chat. If you have multiple unit test suites, you can use this. So just as an example, let's test.py should become test2.py. We basically double the test and run in python-m, sorry. There we go. Command prompt also has transparency. Unit test discover, and it's going to look into your directory for all tests, those that starts with tests. So we have 8 tests, and we duplicate it, so there are 16 tests. And there's something called code coverage. This basically shows how much unit tests your code has. I need to do this fast as I see the time. Come on. Fine. Coverage, run sm unit test discover. So it's going to run all of the unit tests. Coverage report. So this is the report. We can see that prod.py is 100% covered. Or you can output this as HTML. Should be here. So Explorer, HTML code, the index. And here we go. So you can see that all the greens means that there's a test for that specific line. And for this test, there's no test covering this specific line because it's red. When do we trigger the test? Anytime we want, before accepting a pull request. So there is in your version control, there's something called a hook. So you put there the unit test, the code, you put there the command to test, to activate all the tests. And then if it fails, you don't accept the pull request or push or commit before making a release, and maybe daily or weekly. In your current work, how fast is your unit tests usually run? Depends on how well I develop that test. So this test is actually slow. If this test that we develop right now is slow, run in 3.9 seconds, because we are writing to this. That slows down the test. Remember, one of the slowest parts of programming in a program is reading to input-output, either hard disk or over the network. Well, we don't have time for mock testing. So in summary, allow you to test the behavior, not the implementation. The problem with our current tests is every time we run it, we change something in the environment. We basically create a new file. Using mock testing, instead of saving into file, you can save it into an I/O buffer, and that's what you use. And sometimes you need to make the test while the implementation is under development. Does a unit test script deserve its own branch? my opinion, the unit tests should be in the same branch as mine. The same branch. Additional reading. So, we're almost done. I recommend testing on the toilet series. I know it sounds funny, toilets, sure. But it came from Google, so laugh at Google. Testing on the toilet is a blog that Google posted out, and it's basically best practices for unit testing. So let's just go to Java, anything here, see? So when and how to use Modito answer, there's a lot here. There's a lot. So how they use unit testing on FedEx and so on and so on. It's a very valuable. Look up mock testing. Fortunately, we do not have time for that. Dependency injection is also very important. And yeah, any questions from the chat or requests? I'm going to up this later. In the interest of time, I'm going to upload this GitHub after this session. So you should see it right here. I should copy this on to, sorry for the mirror. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, questions for everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Valdez. Ang daming tumatak sa akin sa mga sinabi mo. Lalo na yung bugs are magical creatures. Sobra
Yes.
talaga relate doon.
Ayan
Yeah.
mo, yeah, they are born pregnant. So you see a bug, wait, just another one somewhere.
Tama. At gusto ko lang din talaga isingit na ibang klase yung tapang mo na mag-live coding sa event natin. Hindi lang mag-live coding, guys, nagla-live debugging siya. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya matakot magkamali. Sana may ganun din kaming confidence lahat mag-dev at mag-unit test ng applications namin. So before we move on to more questions that we might have from YouTube, baka, Doc, may gusto kang i-shout out o i-plug ng mga projects mo?
Right now kasi mga projects is under NDA, kaya hindi ako pwede mag-share. Shout out na lang sa Python Philippines. So they were very helpful. And I just nakita nyo naman yung cert ko. This is PyLadies Manila. So we try to, we try to promote as much as we can with the local communities. Buhay testers. Yeah, they are born pregnant, right? What the?
Ayan, guys, you heard it from Sony Valdez himself. So I would like to confirm if we do still have any questions remaining. Otherwise, we can proceed with the rest of our program.
Any questions? Does automated unit testing? I answered that earlier. So automated unit testing, you can test any software. So kahit na front end, sorry, have to be English for our international speakers. Even front end, even video games can be unit tested. I believe it's latest Spire is the video game that I know that does automated unit testing. What is your preferred interpreter or compiler? Well, for Python, it's CPython because it's there. I do not need performance. And if I need performance, I actually do work on C++. Live coding, I can't do it. Nah, you're just that used to it. Once you do live coding once, you have confidence. And I know you also saw earlier that there were a lot of bugs during during the live coding. It's part of our work. There's no need to be afraid of that.
Ito, we have another question. If you were to do automated unit testing, what other programming language would you use? Maliban daw sa Python. So ano yung pipiliin ni Mr. Python Philippines na alternative sa Python?
What other programming language I would use? medyo specific siya eh. Sorry, give me a sec. Mag-google ako, tapos hindi ko Selenium. So there's a automated unit test called Selenium. It's used to test web pages. So that's one. Another is my memory is bad. Give me a sec. Google Let Hypothesis is a something called my memory is bad. Okay, there's a testing library, automated unit testing library that randomize all the data that you put in. So doon sa code ko, in my code earlier, the data was, we put in the data, right? Anonymous and then hello world. So this type of automated unit testing randomize the data. So pwedeng pumas integer then go in, string then go in, Unicode then dead in. That's a lot. JS, hehe. Yeah, JSSA also have unit testing. You know what? It's bothering me a lot. What we call this type of unit testing that is randomized?
Kaya mo yan, Doc. Kaya tayo may Google.
Yeah, I'm looking at Google right now. Nako. Pahiya ako. Faker? Was it Faker? Waiting to Faker generates fake data. I think it's Faker, but I can't remember exactly. Okay, I watched a video on. I watched a unit testing video. That's why I was the other automated unit test. Yeah, probably Faker. So that's looking at
Okay,
the.
Doc. In the interest of time, I'm sure na it's somewhere in the back of your head kasi ang dami mo ng na naturo sa amin. So we really would just like to extend our thanks to you and to Python Philippines for loaning us your knowledge. Thank you for gracing us with your unit testing ability. And do you have any final words to share with the PH Tech Week community?
Yes, everyone, play more video games or games. Play more games.
Ayan, you guys heard it from the man himself, Dr. Sony Valdez from Python Philippines. Thank you so much again, and we hope to see you soon in a separate event. So again, play more video games, guys. Yun pala yung sagot.
Dahil
Ganun
ng board
tayo
games.
level up as programmers. So, as with all good things, we do have to move on to the next part, or actually the final part of our program. So I did tease you guys earlier about some games that were going on as we went through our program, and some of you have been able to submit some social media photos worthy of our awarding, and we would like to honor those winners now. We have chosen 5, and we will have their names up on screen shortly. The winners of the social media photos of the day. Ayan, guys, nakita nyo na hindi ko nababasahin yung mga username nyo kasi I'm sure na magkakamali lang ako sa pronunciation. But congratulations, there are 2 posts from Instagram and 3 from Twitter. Congratulations kayo ang nanalo ng aming Grab Food vouchers for the Monday event. So actually, guys, may kasalanan din ako sa inyo kasi kanina sinabi ko na we would have 5 winners for our decoded raffle. But the team has decided to not have 5. We're actually going to have 15 winners from the decoded raffle, and we have them up on screen in a bit. So congratulations to those yung mga matalas ang mata. Throughout the program, they've been keenly watching our stream, and they immediately saw the code that we flashed on screen. So again, congratulations to you 15 ulit. Hindi ko na babasahin yung pangalan nyo. Congratulations. Hanapin nyo na lang dyan. And again, you guys are winners, and you might still be winners in our remaining contests as the week progresses. But anyway, like I mentioned earlier, as with all good things, guys, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. Pero wag kayong masyadong malungkot because we still have 5 whole days worth of keynotes, talks, and workshops running from Tuesday all the way up to Saturday. We hope to see you guys tomorrow and all throughout the rest of PH Tech Week 2021. On behalf of the team, this has been your host, Miguel, signing off.